Hello and welcome back students. We will now start next part of unit number 6, that is stepper motor and its interfacing with 8051 microcontroller. Our lab experiment list contains one assignment related to the stepper motor. The assignment is write an assembly program to rotate the stepper motor with different step angles and speeds. Okay, so all of we know that motor is the machine to which a shaft is connected, and that shaft will get rotating, or it will keep on rotating as long as it is powered on. Okay, so you might have seen such kind of motors. I will show you at this place. So those are the motors which are used in robotics purpose in the most of the cases, or those motors are used to interface with microcontroller to carry out different operations. Those motors look something like this if you remove the upper casing of this motor. Okay, this motor will have this kind of windings. So whenever the current flows through this wire, this is the input supply wire. Okay, whenever current flows through this wire, it will energize those coils one by one. Okay, and then current will return back to the main supply. So in this way, this is the internal construction that we have now studied related to the stepper motor. The motor use the attraction and repulsion of magnetic fields to induce force and hence the motion. What does it mean? It means that, let us suppose if you have two bar magnets. Okay, so here it is N and another pole is S. In the same way, if you have one another magnet of which one pole is S and another is N, right? So here if you try to bring those two bar magnets near to each other, they will experience the force of repulsion due to same poles. Now if you keep two bar magnets of which pole is there near to N pole of other, then in this case they will get attracted to each other. Okay, so in this way, here we have taken the example of bar magnet, means permanent magnet. Those bars can be magnetized with the help of coil also. Okay, because as per the Faraday's law, whenever current flows through the wire, the magnetic field will get induced around it. Okay, so in this way, if we allow the current to flow, the magnetic field will get induced, and it will create the poles like this. Okay, and now as per the direction of current, this one or this one. Okay, so as per the direction of current, the poles will get changed. Okay, now here there is NS. If you alter the direction of current, then the poles will get interchanged, means here there will be S and here there will be N. Okay, so in this way you can use this mechanism to attract or to repel the magnets. Now whenever magnet get attracted or it get repelled, you will observe here some displacement will be there. Okay, so displacement will occur, it will start moving. So this is the basic mechanism with the bar magnets. The same principle or the same mechanism is applicable to the stepper motor. Here in this animation you can see we have the shaft or magnetized shaft which is keep on rotating in the middle, and here there are coils like coil number 1, then 2, 3, 4. We are energizing the coils one by one. Okay, the red coil, it means that the coil has become energized. So in this way you can see over here is the coils are getting energized one by one. At a time two coils are getting energized, and as per the stage of the coil or condition of the coil, whether it is uh, energized or not, as per that condition the shaft is rotating. Okay, here you can see actually this animation is little bit fast, but when coil number 4 and 3, let us suppose if both are energized, so during this time you can observe N pole is arrived at this place like this. Okay, this condition. So in this way this N pole will be there to the coil which has got energized. So in this way we can keep this shaft rotating by continuously giving the supply to the stepper motor. So in this way, when a voltage is applied to these coils, the result is a torque and a rotation of an output shaft. Stepper motors are DC motors that move in discrete steps. Now you might have seen the motor for pumping operation, or say, let's say, water pumping operation based motor. You might have seen all those motors because in most of the house they have these kind of motors. So those motors rotates continuously. Okay, or you might have observed the rotation of the fan in your house. It keeps on rotating continuously. But in case of this stepper motor, those motors do not rotate continuously. Okay, it rotates with some discrete angle. Here you can see this shaft is keep on rotating with discrete steps and not continuously. Okay, by energizing each phase means group of coils. In a sequence, the motor will rotate one step, that is 1.8 degrees at a time. So we have discussed that the DC motors, those are the DC motor which move in a discrete steps. Okay, means not continuously. It will not rotate continuously. So by energizing each phase, here you can see we are energizing each phase means each coil. The motor will rotate in 1.8 degrees. Means when you energize two coils, the motor will get rotated with 1.8 degrees. After that, if you energize next coils, the motor will rotate in this direction. So here, as per the coil excitation, the motor will keep on rotating with 1.8 degrees angle. Now here you may get confused that as per this diagram, the motor shaft is getting rotated in 4 angles only. Okay, so it is basically, you can see this shaft is rotating into 90 degrees, right? But here we have shown 4 coils, whereas actual internal construction of this motor is not like this. The actual construction or the internal structure of the stepper motor is something like this, which contains lots of coils within it. Okay, so just because of that, the motor will keep on rotating with 1.8 degrees at a time. So you can calculate here, like if motor is getting rotated one step with 1.8 degrees, okay, so there can be total 200 steps for one revolution. Okay, means 200 into 1.8, you will get 360 degrees. Okay, so that's why it is called as 200 steps per revolution motor. Now if you bring this kind of motor from market, you will observe 5 wires to it, and this kind of motor is called as unipolar type of motor. Later on we will discuss what do you mean by unipolar and bipolar type of motor. So it is called as 5 wire unipolar type of stepper motor. Now we are using this kind of motor in our practical. Okay, so here one lead, it is the common lead, it will always be negative, right? Means in this figure you can observe that those leads which are taken out from the coils, means this one and this one, we have joined them together and taken out as a common single wire. This lead is a negative, or it is connected to ground. Okay, and the other lead will always be positive. It means that remaining other, means this one, and those two will always be positive. The shaft to move a precise number of degrees each time a pulse of electricity is sent to the motor. So in order to rotate the shaft, let's say smoothly, actually it will not rotate smoothly as such, but we will, if you try to achieve the ideality, so in that case, if we want to move the shaft of the motor with precise number of degrees, then you will have to give the pulse accordingly. Okay, so in this figure you can see the other terminal like A, B, C and D, those ABCD terminals, those are taken out, whereas this 12 volt is common to all. Now it's up to you whether you put this terminal to ground or this terminal to VCC. Okay, if you put this particular terminal to ground, then other terminal you will have to put them to the different positive level excitation, and if you put this to VCC, then you will have to make those pins low in order to make this particular motor on or in order to rotate. Now, as per our previous discussion, we will be going to connect the common terminal of the motor to this positive supply, which is 12 volt, right? So this common terminal is taken out and connected to 12 volt, whereas remaining terminals, those we have connected to the microcontroller's port pin. Okay, but here you can see the microcontroller's port pin and the stepper motor. In between those two systems, there is one more IC, that is ULN2003. Now, what is the use of this particular IC? Actually, here the motor requires lots of current, more than, let's say, 100 milliampere, 150 milliampere, and here in the case of these port pins, it is able to supply only 25 to 20 milliampere of current. So the requirement of current is not getting fulfilled by those pins. Okay, it means that this is the load, this load requires lots of current, whereas this is the source and this source gives very low amount of current. So this motor will not rotate at all, because this motor will not get the current which is required for its operation. So for that purpose, to fulfill all those conditions, we have used this IC, that is ULN2003. What it will does is, it will give extra current, it will supply the extra current to this stepper motor. Okay, and from where it will take extra current? It will take that extra current from VCC, that is the supply voltage, right? So it will take the signal from 8051 and it will send the same signal, means 1 or 0. It will send the same signal to this stepper motor along with the high amount of current, right? So this is what is the function of ULN2003. This is called as stepper motor driver IC, because it is helping to drive this stepper motor. Now, how to rotate that stepper motor? Which signal pattern we should send in order to make that motor on and off? So for that, there is a table that we have derived. Now let's say initially we want our shaft, means this motor's shaft should come at this place, means at 4th place. Okay, so for that purpose, what we will have to do is, the common terminal is tied to 12 volt, means this particular point. Okay, now we will make this A and D, those two pins 0. Okay, if those two pins become 0, then what will happen? The current will start flowing through this coil like this. Fine. Whereas in the case of those two coils, those coils should be tied to VCC or those coils remain high. Fine. So just because of that, at this place, what will happen? No current will flow through those coils and current will start flowing through A and D coils. So those coils will get energized and the shaft will come at this place as shown in this figure. Okay. So for that purpose, we will have to make this A and D coil low. So this A coil here is 0 and this D coil it is 0, and remaining coil those are high, means B and C coil. So B and C coil we have made them high, means 1. Therefore, if you try to convert them into hexadecimal form, then this number is 6 and on coils or active coils are A, D. In this way, now let us suppose we want to move our shaft in next direction. Our next direction is this one. Previously the shaft was at 4, now the shaft should get moved in a clockwise direction at position 1. So for that purpose, this coil means coil number A or coil A and coil B should remain active. So for that purpose, this A coil, the other end of A coil should be 0 and other end of coil B it should be 0. Whereas C and D, this coil should remain high. Fine. So no current will flow through those coils, and that's why as those two coils are activated, the shaft will get rotated towards position 1. So in this way we can say that coil A and B, those are active. Coil A and B are active, C and D are inactive. So if you try to convert that 0011 in hexadecimal form, you will get 3. In the same way, let us suppose you want to move your shaft towards, let's say, position number 2, means at next position. For that purpose, this B and C, those should be connected to ground, or those should be at 0 potential, whereas A and D, those should be at higher potential. So those two coils will remain inactive, whereas the current will start flowing through B and C, and that's why those coils will remain active. Fine. So here you will have to make B and C low, whereas A and D will remain high. So if you try to convert once again 1001 into hexadecimal form, you will get 9. In the last iteration, let us suppose you want to move the shaft towards position number 3. So in this way, C and D, those should be 0, okay, and B and A, those should be tried to high. So in this case, the current will start flowing through these coils. Okay, so here you will get 1100, and hex equivalent of 1100 is C. So you will get those codes, and if you again go at this step, it means that again the motor will get rotated, or it will start rotating from 4, then 1, 2, 3. So in this way the motor will rotate in a clockwise direction. So to rotate the motor in clockwise direction continuously, we will have to send this kind of code continuously on this port. Okay. Now for this to happen, we will require a mechanism to send this code on this port in order to rotate the motor continuously. So for that part, we have done one adjustment. The adjustment is shown in this table, and this will minimize the efforts during writing the program. So instead of 6, we will consider 66. Okay. Now if you write 66 like this, 0110 and 0110 in binary form, okay, and if you try to rotate them right, okay, it means that this 0 will get shifted towards right by 1 bit, and this 1 will get shifted towards right by 1 bit. So 1 will come at this place, this 1 will come at this place, likewise. Okay, and at the end this 0 will come over here. So in this way you will get a new sequence generated. So from 66 you will get 33. Okay. Now in the same way, if you rotate all those contents, means 33, towards right by 1 bit, then you will observe this 0 will come at this place, right, and this 0 again will come, or it will get shifted towards right. This one will again get shifted towards right. So in this way each and bit will get shifted towards right, and the last bit which was at this place, it will come over here, because we are using the instruction that is RRL, means rotate right, sorry, RRA, rotate right accumulator. RRA is the instruction. So rotation means all the bits will get shifted and the last bit will come at the first location, or the first bit will come at the last location. This is how the rotation will happen. So after rotating 33 towards right by 1 bit, you will get new code, that is 99. Okay, after this, once again you rotate 99 towards right by 1 bit. The same way you will get this kind of code generated, that is CCH. Now you observe the LSB nibble of this code 639C, which is the required code which we want to send over the lines of the microcontroller. So in the programming part, we will send 66 on the port. Here we have written that port P0 and bit sequence on it. I will show you clearly. Port P0 and bit sequence on it. So this is the bit sequence. Firstly, the initial sequence will be 66. After rotation, the next bit sequence will be 33. After rotation, next sequence will be 99, and after rotation the sequence will be CCH, and again the loop will continue. Now here, the moment when we send 66, so this lower 6, okay, this 6 will get moved on port P 0.0, 0.1, 0.2 and 0.3. It means that it will be 0110. Okay, P 0.0 will be 0, P 0.1 will be 1, P 0.2 will be 1, and P 0.3 will be 0. And next 6 means this particular 6 will appear at this place, means port 0.4, 0.5, 0.6 and 0.7. Here those pins are not connected anywhere. So actually this part, means this MSB or most significant nibble part, will not be considered. In this way we are going to consider only this part, means lower nibble part. Lower nibble means lower 4-bit parts only. Therefore, for clockwise direction, the loop data sequence on port 0 is 66, 33, 99, CCH, and then again once when we will be going to send 66 and loop continues. Fine. So this will give us the clockwise direction. For anti-clockwise direction, the bits are needed to rotate towards left. Okay, here we have done right shifting operation. If you do right shifting operation, the motor will rotate in clockwise direction. If you do opposite to it, means if you rotate those bits towards left, then the motor will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. So that's why we are moving those bits towards left. So this 66 will become CC, and this CC will become 99, and this 99 will become 33, and again that 33 will become 66, because we will get reverse number. Fine. So just because of that, the motor will rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Okay students, now we will rotate the stepper motor in clockwise direction with some specific speed. I will tell you how to increase or decrease the speed of the motor. So for that there is an algorithm. Step 1 is move data 66H to the port T0 where stepper motor is connected. So in this way we have moved 66 data on port T0. So in this way a lower nibble of that value, means 6, will appear at port 0.0123, and higher nibble will get appeared at port 0.4, 5, 6 and 7. Okay, we have not connected that higher nibble anywhere, so we don't have to worry about it. After that, rotate the data towards right by 1 bit for clockwise direction. Okay, so for clockwise direction, if we rotate the data towards right, it will become 33 in this way. Okay, so due to this, coil A and coil B, it will get energized, right, and those two coils will remain off. So during this time, the shaft will come at this position, means position number 1. okay, and give some delay. So your motor's shaft will stay at this position for some time. The time will be very small. After that, go back to step 2. Again, rotate the data towards right by 1 bit for clockwise direction. So now the data will become 99H. Due to this, B and C will go low and this A and D will go high. That's why the current will start flowing through those coils and both the coil will get energized. That's why shaft will come at this position, that is position number 2. Okay, after this we will give some delay so that the shaft will remain on that position for some time. Then again go back to step 2. Again rotate the data towards right by 1 bit. Now the content will become CC. When it becomes CC, that's why this C coil and D coil it will go low, whereas A and B those will go high. So no current will flow through those coils because both the coils, means B 12 volt and A 12 volt, those coils ends are at same potential level. So current will basically start, or it will start flowing from higher potential to lower potential. Just like here, 12 volt is at higher potential and C is at lower potential. That's why the current will start flowing through those coils. That's why the motor shaft will come at this position, means 3. So give some delay so that the motor shaft will remain at that position for some time. Again go back to step 2. Again the same thing, rotate the data towards right. Now the data will become 66. Again the same data. So in this way the motor will come to the starting location, that is position number 4. So in this way the motor will keep on rotating again and again for infinite amount of time, because all those steps, means steps number 2, 3 and 4, we have written all those 3 steps in infinite loop. Now how to convert that algorithm in program? Firstly we will write org00h. So it is originate 00. It means that the first instruction will get placed at 00, means starting location of the program memory. The first instruction is move a hash 66h. Okay, so in this way we have moved data 66 into the port. It means that after that we will have to make like a move p0 a. So content of A, it was 66, that A will get moved into port P0. Then rotate the data towards right. That's why we have used RRA. So from 66, now after rotation the data will become 33. A called delay. So delay subroutine will be called. The pointer will jump to this location delay because delay is called. Then move R2 0FFH and R3 0FFH, means R2 and R3 will contain 255 in decimal into it. Okay, because the value of FF in decimal is 255. Then decrement jump if not 0 R3 dollar, means the content of R3 will get decremented by 1 and R3 will be checked whether it is 0 or not. If it is not 0, then dollar means the pointer will jump to the next the same instruction only. So in this way the content of R3 will be decremented. If the content of R3 is 0, then decrement jump if not 0, jump if not 0, but R3 is 0, so come down. Decrement jump if not 0 R2 L1. So content of R2 it was FF, now it will become FE, means 254. The content of R2 is not 0, so jump to L1. So pointer will jump to L1. Again R3 will get reloaded. Again the same instruction will get executed again till the content becomes 00. Once the content of R3 becomes 0, again come down in and after that decrement the value of R2. It was FE, now it will become FD, means 253. And again reload the value FF into R3, again do the same thing. It means that if this particular instruction is getting executed, means this particular instruction related to R2, let us suppose, if it is getting executed by one time, then the decrement instruction related to R3 will get executed for 255 times. Okay, in this way the decrement jump, if not 0, R2 related instruction will get executed for 255 times. It means that if we try to calculate this loop, then this loop is getting executed for 255 into 255 times. Okay, so thus because of that, what will happen, the pointer will remain engaged within this loop and pointer will not go back till the end of this loop. That's why the delay will get created. Okay, and at the end of this instruction there is instruction written below it, that is RET, written where, to the next instruction from where it was called. S jump back, so pointer will jump to back. Again move P0 comma A, here RRA means it was 66, it was 33, okay, previously, so 33 will get moved into port P0. Fine, rotate right accumulator, A called delay, so 33 will become 99. So after some delay the pointer will come over here. Again move the content of accumulator onto port P0. In this way this 99, which was the content of A, will get moved onto port P0. So with reference to 99 the shaft will get rotated. Fine, RRA, so content will become CCH, A called delay. After some time the pointer will jump again, move the content of accumulator, that is CC, on port P0. So the motor will get rotated, or the shaft will get rotated in accordance with CC. Okay, rotate right accumulator, then it will become 66, A called delay. After some delay a jump back over here. Now move the content, that is 66, on port P0 and motor will come to position number 4. And in this way one by one the shaft is covering one position, and in this way the shaft will complete 360-degree rotation. In this way motor will keep on rotating. One more thing you should keep in your mind, that we have concentrated only 4 coils. Actually if you go through the construction of stepper motor, then you will find that those 4 coils are grouped into different sections, and those 4 sets or the group of those 4 coils will be placed at different location throughout the motor in a circular way. Okay, so that's why the motor will keep on rotating as we are sending this particular code on the port pins. Now let us suppose the motor is rotating with slower speed, means like this, in clockwise direction. Now if we want to motor to rotate it in a fast speed, then for that purpose just decrement the amount of delay. Now it is 00F, you can make it 20 for R2, okay, and any random value, let us suppose 34 for R3. So obviously FF is greater than 20 and here FF is greater than 34. Those are smaller values. Those should be moved into R2 and R3 respectively. So in this situation the motor will start rotating in a fast way like this. Okay, now if you want to calculate the motor speed, then you will have to calculate the time for execution of the delay. Now how to calculate the time which is required for delay execution? For that purpose you should know how much time is required to execute this single instruction. Again this instruction, then decrement related instructions. Okay, and after this the instruction within those loops, means instruction move R3, first instruction, decrement jump and next decrement jump, means 3 instructions are getting executed for some amount of time, and that amount is depend upon the number that you are moving in the register. So you will have to consider all those numbers of executions and the value that you are moving. So in accordance to that, after doing some mathematical calculation, you will come to know that this loop is getting executed for, let's say, some 50, or let's say some 500 microsecond. Okay, so 500 microsecond of delay will get generated. If you modify the value in the register, less than 500 microsecond delay will get generated. So in this way, this program will rotate the shaft of motor in total 360 degrees. Okay, and again, as we are saying, this is the infinite loop. The motor will keep on rotating again and again for infinite amount of time. Now let's say, instead of 360 degree, if we want to rotate the motor in 180 degrees, then, so for that purpose, here firstly we will have to calculate for how much amount of time this infinite loop will get rotated. Okay, because now we don't want our motor should keep on rotating for 360 degrees and for infinite amount of time. We want our motor, means let us suppose this is the motor, this is the direction of the shaft. Okay, means at this position. So the shaft should rotate from this position to this position only in 180 degrees, not full 360 degrees. So for that purpose, we will have to calculate the steps and degrees. We will have to consider those two parameters. So for that purpose, the stepper motor has one step angle which is equal to 1.8 degrees. Okay, one step angle, it means that, let us suppose you give first code, okay, and after you give the second code, that is 3, then because of that, what will happen, the motor shaft will get rotated towards right with 180 degree angle. Okay, if I draw it in a little simple manner, so this will be 1.8 degrees. Okay, this is not to the scale basically. So to get an idea, the motor shaft will get rotated towards right at 1.8 degrees. So this is the step angle. So therefore, for 180 degree, the steps will be 180 divided by 1.8. You will get 100 steps. Last time, while studying the features, or while studying the introductory points of the stepper motor, we know that the stepper motor is 200 steps motor. Okay, somewhere at this place we have studied a 1.8 degree motor is the same as a 200 steps revolution motor, right? So it means that 360 degrees divided by 200, you will get 1.8. Fine. It means for 200 rotation, the motor completes 360 degree. Okay, and if we make it half, means for 100, it will obviously go up to 180 degrees. So this is the generalized calculation that we have done mathematically at this place. So we got 100 steps. Therefore 100 steps should be given to the stepper motor to rotate the motor through 180 degrees. Okay, this is extra. Suppose if I make steps equal to 50, then obviously the motor will get rotated through 90 degree. Okay, you can use this figure for the program for assignment. Okay, now let's go through the algorithm. Step 1, set the counter to 100. Why 100? 100 is for 180 degree, right? Then move the data 66 to the port P0 where stepper motor is connected. Then rotate the data towards right. The rest of the things will remain just like previous program. Towards right by 1 bit for clockwise direction. Give some delay and decrement the value of counter and loop back to step 3. It means that again we will have to go to step 3. Decrement the value of counter. It was 100, now it will become 99. So we will have to execute this loop for 100 times, means till the counter value goes to 00, right, from 100 to 00. So when it reaches to 00, the loop should get terminated, and that will be the end of the program. Fine. So in this way we are rotating the shaft of the motor through 180 degrees. So here colon or semicolon, program to rotate motor 180 degree in clockwise. So semicolon means comment, that you know already. org00h means starting location of the program memory. Move r1 comma hash 100. So we are moving 100 that data into r1. Here you should observe that we are moving 100 and not the hex value. Okay, so it means that we can move the decimal value directly by using this instruction. So move r1 comma hash 100. So in this way count value for 180 degree is loaded in this register r1. And just like previous program, move 66h into port A, move the data from port A, that is 66, to port P0. So port P0 at lower level there will be 6. Okay, then rotate right the accumulator's content. So the content of accumulator will become 33. A call delay. Now this delay subroutine will be called, and at the end of the delay subroutine we will come back over here. Decrement jump if not 0 r1. The content of r1 it was 100. Now content of r1 will become 99. Okay, and as content of r1 it is not 0, that's why jump if not 0, we are back over here at this point. Move A to port P0. The content of A is 33, so 33 will be moved, so it will become 33. So 3 will be there at the lower level of the port P0 to which we have connected the stepper motor. Then rotate right the content of accumulator. The content of accumulator will become 99. Equal delay. After some delay, decrement jump if not 0. So decrement means 99 will become 98. Yes, it is not 0. Jump back. Again move A means 99 to port P0. So 99 will get moved to port P0. Okay, and rotate right the content of accumulator. The content of accumulator will become CC. Fine. And again a call delay. After delay subroutine, decrement the value. So 98 will become 97. It is not 0. So jump back. So in this way we are moving the next value on this port, and that's why the motor will keep on rotating. So when the shaft of motor, when it reaches at 180 degrees, so what will happen? So during that time the content of r1 will become 00. Okay, so decrement the value of r1. R1 is 00 now. Jump if not 0, but r1 is 00 now, that's why don't jump. Jump if not 0, but value of r1 is 0. So this instruction will become false, and a jump dollar means this instruction will get executed again and again for infinite amount of time. So in this way we have rotated the motor with 180 degrees in a clockwise direction. Okay, and for anti-clockwise direction we have to rotate this motor towards left. So RLA will be the instruction. Rotate left the content of accumulator, and rest of the things will remain as it is. So the motor will get rotated towards anti-clockwise direction for 180 degrees only. Now let us suppose you want to rotate the motor in clockwise direction for, let's say, 90 degrees. So there will be only 50 steps. So you need to move 50 into R1 and rotate the motor for 90 degrees in a clockwise. For anti-clockwise what will happen? It will be 50. For anti-clockwise it will become RLA. So that will be the instruction for anti-clockwise direction. And in this also, if you want to vary the speed, then you will have to change the number. For a higher number the smaller will be the speed, and for smaller number the speed will become higher. Okay, now you can rotate the motor in clockwise, anti-clockwise direction with different speeds, and also the stepper motor can be rotated with different step angles and with different speed. All those programs should be done on the kit. Now we will stop here. We will switch over to interfacing of keyboard. Okay, now you can visit directly to this link. Okay, keypad 8051. So this link will take you to the microcontroller interfacing with the keyboard. Okay, now here in case of SPPU exam, this is the microcontroller and this is the keyboard. In case of SPPU exam, you will be asked the questions like write the interfacing or explain the keyboard interfacing with 8051. You need not to write the program at this place. If you want, you can write the program. Only flowchart, algorithm and interfacing diagram and its explanation is sufficient. Actually the thing is that the length of the program is very much large. It is large program, so that's why it will take lots of time to write down the program. Okay, so try to avoid writing the program, but yes, if it is asked in a question to write the program, then you will have to write. But there are 99.99% chances that the university will not ask you to write down the program. Okay, so in that slide which is there at this link, you will observe there is a microcontroller. It is not actually the 8051 microcontroller. There is a Arduino microcontroller, or Arduino based microcontroller, that is Atmega 328P. So to that microcontroller we have connected the keyboard. Okay, and there is the algorithm associated with it. So you just have to read that algorithm and try to understand the logic behind the interfacing. So in that video, at that particular link, you will observe this kind of flowchart. It is about bouncing and debouncing of the key. Okay, it means that whenever key is pressed, you will not observe high and low signal on the key port. Okay, you will observe this kind of make and break kind of waveforms at this port. Now how to avoid those make and break kind of waveforms? So for that purpose, bouncing and debouncing mechanism is used. It is discussed over there. And this kind of interfacing, okay, those are the ports, that is output port and input ports of the microcontroller. Okay, and the keyboard is connected in this fashion. Now this kind of keyboard is available in the market. Internally there are the connections like this, which is to be connected or interfaced to the microcontroller, and here there is an algorithm. That algorithm is explained in the slide. Okay, you just go through those slides, and the logic of this interfacing is same as far as our syllabus is concerned. Okay students, so we will stop here. Then after this we will study ADC and DAC interfacing in next video. Thank you very much.